Welcome to Wealth Chance Podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Julius Hammond. I have another fire guest in studio, everybody. Before I get to who this beautiful soul of a woman is, yes, it's a woman, and she's fire, guys. But before I get to who it is, I want you guys to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let me say that again. Like the video, subscribe to the video, hit that notification bell, and also comment because it helps the algorithm with the show get out there, and we need more people to see podcasts like mine to be able to bring more value and add more value to our subscribers and to our listeners and to our followers. So my guest for today, her name is Kerry Thomson. She is a luxury real estate agent and developer. She has a beautiful team. She has a beautiful husband, a wonderful marriage, and she also has a wonderful family, kids, grandbabies, and all that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wealth Chance Podcast, Kerry Thomson. How you doing, Miss Kerry Thomson?
Thank you so much for that introduction,
You're
Julius.
welcome. You're welcome.
I am so honored to be here, and thank you so much for facilitating this. And I am just here to bring so much value and impact others and others' lives, and hopefully my story will be able to impact even just one person. So I want to give you so much gratitude and let you know that we are so grateful to be here today.
No, I'm honored. I actually got introduced to you by our business partner and also the people who are behind the scenes for all this with Ontario Podcast Studio. Make sure you guys go on there too if you want to start your own podcast or whatever. But his name is Ethan Trainee. He's actually not here today, but he's the one who told me about you. And he said, you got to interview this lady, man. She's awesome. I said, okay, well, if you say she's awesome, I know she's awesome because Ethan talks very highly of you, Ethan and Daniel. So thank you for the connection right there. So now, let's get into your story a little bit. So, because people resonate with stories. I know I do. Yeah. I have a story. Everybody has a story. And like I told you before we started recording, I resonate with people who have stories and who persevere through something because I know that they really have something to bring to the table, right?
Sure.
What was it like growing up? Tell me your family history and your history and, what happened during your adolescent years and your toddler years and all that. So how did Kerry Thomson become Kerry Thomson?
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to go kind of deep, right? Sure. I feel like you're absolutely right that people resonate with true stories of how people start off a certain way and they get to where they are. Mm-hmm. So starting off as a young child, I was raised with a single mother, and she raised 3 children all on her own, and we had absolutely zero. We were moving from house to house. We never had a stable place. I went to so many different schools as an adolescent. Didn't have true values or learn about values because my mom's generation also didn't teach her. And as you know, generations go back, right? Mm-hmm. And so for that, I didn't know a lot, and I didn't come from a lot. And there was a lot of struggles that I had going to school, not being able to stay in a certain school for a period of time impacted that. I had a little brother that had gotten in some trouble at a very young age, and he kind of took a wrong direction. And so it just kind of led me into where was I going to go in life and how was I going to direct my life. And through that, I had to learn a lot of things on my own. And we'll get to all that, how I've learned a lot of things through life coming from absolutely nothing. But what I will tell you is I have a great deal of respect for my mother. I don't know my real father. I had a stepfather. He was as much as he could be a stepfather. Unfortunately, he passed about 6 years ago. He did the best that he could, but I was raised only with a mother that did her very best that she could. And I am so grateful and gratitude that she did what she could do based on what she knew and she learned. And so I by no means blame her for any of my struggles through my life because I have nothing but love and gratitude for her.
Absolutely. Now, you said you grew up just as a single mother household, but where'd you grow up at?
Okay, so that was part of the moving around.
Okay.
So I've lived everywhere from Lake Elsinore to Canyon Lake to Orange County. So I mostly grew up in Orange County. I was born in Spain, came here when I was 1 years old, and have been here my entire life. So pretty Americanized.
There you
Don't speak any Portuguese, any of those languages. And so that's kind of a little bit about my story. And so I was raised in Orange County, and then I moved from Orange County to the Inland Empire about 25 years ago. And the reason I moved out here was because it was more cost effective, right? Buying a house in Orange County, as we know, was tremendous. And so we ended up moving out here, bought our first house for $120,000. Got married at the time, and that's when my life started and began a family. So that's kind of how I transitioned into the Inland Empire.
Okay, and you said you had siblings, right? How many?
Correct. So I have a little brother and I have an older brother. And
Okay.
unfortunately, our family dynamics are not very close. So I don't have a lot of exposure as far as having a relationship with my brothers. And I think that is why family is so valuable to me, is because through my transition of learning who I am, where I came from, and who I was going to become has impacted me on why I'm so close to my family. And as you know, I'm a wife and I have two beautiful sons and two stepkids as well. And my relationship with all of them is absolutely spectacular, and it gets better and better every single day. And I maybe want to cry because I do the best I can for them.
There you go. Man, I appreciate that. Jay, throw up her husband on the screen. The picture I got you. Yeah, we got you, big bro. We got you. Okay, so talk about that, because from what I know when speaking with Ethan and them, you guys have been dating for a long time and then just recently got married. So talk about that experience between you two.
So let me go back a little bit
Sure.
and how we kind of got to that. So through my transition of not knowing my value and my worth because of kind of how I was brought up, not knowing, I just like probably many of other women got into a really dysfunctional relationship.
Okay.
And this relationship was so dysfunctional. It's pretty deep, but it broke me. It absolutely broke me on the dysfunction. It was abusive verbally, mentally, emotionally, in every way. And because of my self-worth or lack of self-worth at that time, I allowed that to happen. Okay. I allowed that relationship to happen. And so that went on for about 5 years, and I was broken. I was in a very bad stage in my life. I started drinking alcohol excessively, and that was part of my life, and that was a huge challenge for me. And so for quite some time after that, I did not want to date. I wanted to focus on self-development for myself because I knew I was so broken. And I truly knew that there was nobody else that was really going to help me. I was going to have to help myself, and it took me a long time to figure that out. And through that transition, I met an amazing mentor till this day, has been mentoring me for over 20 years, and her name is Wanda Payton. And Wanda became like a mother to me. And so Wanda took me through all of the chaos that I had in my life from an adolescent growing up, not knowing certain situations, how to handle my emotional energy. Wanda took me to a place of no matter what happened in chaos, how you can control your energy and how you can get through things. And so it was after I started working on a little bit of self-development, only a little at that time because I was just introduced to it, always believed in God, but wasn't really so deep into my faith at that time. And so through that process and kind of getting out of that dysfunctional relationship, I met Eric. And so this is where we're going to talk about my amazing husband, because I truly never knew that there was going to be an amazing man out there for me. In so many ways. I get teary-eyed because I remember the dysfunction that I never thought I was going to outlive. And to be quite honest, in that relationship, I'm glad that I got out of it, because later on, I found out that guy that I was in a relationship with had remarried, and actually, and I'm going to be honest, that lady ended up committing suicide.
Wow.
Okay. And that's a true story. And I feel like God intervened in a way that is beyond, because if that would have been me and I would have stayed in that relationship, I don't know where I would have been. So going back to Eric, as a few years later, I ended up meeting Eric, and Eric and I, we would pass by each other. We knew each other. Eric would probably tell you a different story, but I would run into him at that time. We met at Yard House, and I would see him there, but something about him a swag about him. He was different.
Yeah.
He always wore a suit, and he would walk in and you would just like turn around and look at him because something about him just drew me to him, right?
He's suited now.
He's
Yeah.
suited up
Absolutely,
now, yeah. And he just had this swag about him, and I was just like so like, oh my gosh. And I never really met him, right? Just kind of saw him from a distance. And fast forward a little bit, I think he came up to me once and he asked me, he said, hey, how's it going? And I turned around and looked at him like, do I know you? And so he was, kind of never really approached me after that. And then later on, it just so happened, what you put out in the universe and how God works. We walked into Yard House. It was like a game night. It was packed. There was one seat available. One seat. Wow. And guess where that one seat was? Right next to the man that I was going to marry. Wow. And so, of course, Eric, being who he is, the gentleman that he is, he actually had already ordered a drink for me and my girlfriend, and we sat down. We started talking, and this is how much swag my husband has. He is so witty and so funny that I was sitting in the middle, and it was him on this side and my girlfriend on this side. And my girlfriend and I went in there. Her name is Rebecca Ortega. She's one of my greatest friends. And she was getting ready for a competition, and we went to go have a drink. He leaned over me and pushed me back and actually looked at my girlfriend, told her how beautiful she was. And I thought, what the heck is this guy talking about? You just pushed me back. Like, you couldn't have waited till I went to the restroom to tell my girlfriend this. But guess what? That was a game. There's actually a book that if you pay attention to somebody else instead of that person, it makes that person pay more attention.
I knew what he was doing when he did that. Yeah.
And I didn't know that, though, right?
Only true players know that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought, this guy. So I'm going to tell you the true story. The rest of the night, I was like, I got to get to know this guy. And I really, it would triggered me that I wanted to find out more about him. And that just kind of was the start of our amazing relationship. And I am so incredibly blessed. And I'm not just saying this because he's in the studio. Anybody that knows Eric and I, we didn't start off with the greatest foundation. Our foundation of our relationship was cracked. He had been in some kind of his relationships prior to. I'd been in my own dysfunctional relationships prior to. And we came together and we just stuck it out and we just started learning and we started getting into our faith and we quit drinking. We are actually 7 years sober. So we quit drinking and we just decided that we wanted to change because there were so many times where I thought we were going to break up, like we weren't going to make it. I would call his family, talk to them about, some of the things that he did. And it was just crazy. And we just came to a place where we came together and our relationship is growing every single day. My husband supports my business. My husband supports me. My husband supports my children. My husband supports his children. We are just every single day trying to be a better version of ourselves by daily routines, by habits that we have created together. And I want to say that I am incredibly blessed to have this man in my life that supports me. And it's almost nearly never that anybody ever sees us apart. And we have grown to where we know our boundaries with each other, but we still get on each other's nerves. And we have challenges just like everybody else. But we continue to grow in our faith. We continue to grow and believe in each other. And I will tell you, for the first time in my entire life, I know exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I am exactly where God has aligned me to be with all of my challenges, with my business, with everybody that's involved in my business, and the growth and the development of where I am supposed to be in alignment with what God's plan is. And God's plan is having Eric, my husband, always being there, present, supporting me. And this is where we're supposed to be. And we're just continuing to grow every single day. And that's my amazing husband.
Wow, that's a fantastic story, man. Just tell you talk so passionately about your husband and about your family. I could tell you really love him. You're spiritually in tune with him. And he's the man that, that God has pretty much made for you, right? A couple questions within that. So, because there's some people right now who were going through what you were going through, but and they're probably with their significant other right now, but they don't know how to relate to them. What was the one thing when you guys were going through the stuff that you were going through? Because like you said, sometimes you guys bumped heads. So you guys bump heads, just regular couples bump heads, right? But what is the one thing that you guys leaned on when you guys were going through the adversity stuff that you were going through in order to get out of that?
The one thing that I'm going to tell you that I lean on, and I lean on every single day, and I do it all day long, and even when I'm in the bathroom, is God.
There you go.
And I just leaned into my faith, and I didn't know where I was going with it, but I was going to determine that my way was not working. Whatever I was doing was not working in my life, and I was trying to do it my way. And that's the one thing that I leaned on. And once we brought God into our life, and we started going to church, and we started reading the Bible, and we started listening to the Word every day, that's what we leaned into. And that's what keeps us going every single day. So if there's any type of anything that I can give as far as relatable information to other people to help them, because I know in this world that we have so many things that cause chaos in our life. And if you don't lean into first God and listening to the Word, then the only thing that I can tell you is you got to figure that out, because that's what keeps me going every day. And to be honest, if I didn't, I would probably run everybody over every single day, because I will tell you that there is so much chaos that interferes in our life. We could become offensive to certain things. People offend us in ways that we don't know that they're offending us, maybe not intentionally, but they offend us. Maybe I didn't get invited to a certain party that I thought I should have been invited to. Maybe somebody didn't tell me something that I thought they should have told me to. Maybe they just didn't know. And so I think that by learning how to manage your emotional energy and how to manage yourself through the chaos that happens in life is really where we continue to lean on. That has helped us and continues to help us embrace that so that we can continue to grow together. And that has been the biggest thing.
Wow, that's amazing. Leaning on God, I think that's the best thing the best thing that anybody can ever do, whether it's relationship, whether they're going through some kind of financial, distress, whether they're on, maybe they're on some kind of contraband and they need help getting off of that. God is the way, the truth, and the light, and no one comes before him, but you got to go through him in order to get to the promised land, right? So,
absolutely. And that is the one thing. And once I changed my life and I started leaning into my faith, everything changed.
Yeah.
Doors opened up, opportunities opened up. You know what? It's very rare that I'm even involved in a toxic relationship. I have learned so much forgiveness. I have learned so much about the people that I allow into my life, managing my emotional energy, and that is all from the Word of God.
Wow, that's amazing. Another thing, so what if so there's a couple right now that the husband or the whatever they are, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, they're trying to work together. She has her dreams, he has his. He might be trying to, have the philosophy, oh, I'm the leader, I'm the head of that, which is fine. That's God has that hierarchy, right? Yeah. But you need to follow me and all this other. He's doing all the worldly stuff, right? But then you feel as a woman, she's feeling like, well, I have my dreams and goals that I want to accomplish too. What advice can you give someone who's struggling through that right now to where you can accomplish your dreams like you're doing, he can accomplish his and the stuff that he wants to do, but you guys aren't butting heads and going at each other's throat on that particular topic? What kind of advice can you give someone who's going through that right now?
So that is a fantastic question.
Yeah.
So my advice would be communication, always communication. In order for two people to come together in unity and to be united, you have to figure out the way to be able to communicate, okay? We all know that book, probably older, that men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Yeah.
Or a W might look like a W to me and an M to him, right? Woman, man, right? We all have our different ways of communicating with our languages. And once you learn, about the 5 love languages, right? I think that that's really important, is that we have to learn how to communicate. And in order to learn how to communicate is we sometimes feel like we have such these expectations of how people should should respond to us, because that is what our mental state says. Our mental state gets into our head and tells us that these are the way that people need to respond. So what my advice would be is that you have to learn the 5 love languages first and foremost. And then secondly is find the way to communicate, whether you have time out or you have these certain ways, or if you're butting heads, maybe one person raises their hand, or maybe you pass a baton to each other and you pass that baton. And when that person talks about how they feel or what they're feeling and their emotions and what they're going through, and once that person passes that baton, now you can speak, and now you need to listen. You need to embrace that we are all different and that we all feel differently, we all think differently, and we have to accept that. And once you accept that and you learn how to communicate, then you guys can figure out, is this a relationship that's worth fighting for? Eric and I, we were probably going to give up several times, I will tell you. And you know what? I can look back now, 7 years later, and it was definitely worth the relationship fighting for. Wow. Eric is fun. He's witty. He brings out the best in me. I'm going to just throw in a real quick story this morning that just happened.
Let's go.
So I was on the treadmill at Gold's Gym this morning.
Okay.
And part of my daily routine is I have habits, okay? I set an intention every single day of what my day is going to be like. My alarms go off on certain times where I need to be. I set an intention every single day. So I'm on the treadmill at Gold's Gym in Victoria Gardens. Have you been there?
Yes.
You're
I've
okay.
been there. Yeah.
And I'm looking out the window because the way that the treadmills are set up, you can look out the window and you can see King's Fish House. You can kind of see the Victoria Gardens. You can see who's coming in the gym, who's not. And I'm on the treadmill and I'm just doing my thing. And I look down and I see my husband, which is supposed to be at Starbucks getting me egg whites, right, for breakfast, riding by on a 3-wheeler motorcycle. And this is not our motorcycle.
Okay.
Eric's outside convinced some guy, a friend of his, to get on his 3-wheel motorcycle, and he's driving past Victoria Gardens.
There you go.
And these are just some of the things that my husband does that just keeps this relationship going and keeps it fun, keeps it witty. And so for the people that you originally asked me the question about butting heads is really to figure out that way of communication. Yeah. And like I said, whether it's passing a baton or it's being able to set aside some time where you guys can really have that communication, learn those love languages, then that is what I think is very important, and be able to embrace those.
So definitely want to get that book by Gary Chapman, 5 Love Languages. So that will help a lot of people who are struggling right now to communicate, because you have acts of service, words of affirmation, you have physical touch. So understand what each other's love language is, and you can really understand that person more in depth. That's what you're saying, right?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And through that transition, when you learn those love languages and you start doing a lot of self-development and figuring out who you are, and you start to realize that a lot of things are within you. Okay. I've learned through the years that a lot of my insecurities or my chaos or whatever sometimes that goes through my head is sometimes me. Has nothing to do with that other person, has nothing to do with my husband. And so once I've accepted that I need to make that change, and what can I do to make that change, that has impacted us so much to where now our communication is getting better and better and better, because I have to take responsibility of me. And the only people that can take responsibility is you, right? I tell my girlfriends that call me sometimes and they're like, oh my gosh, this happened between my boyfriend last night, or this happened or that happened. And I have to tell them. And the reason I tell them this is because I have wisdom from this. I've been through dysfunctional relationships. I've been through this great relationship. I've been through a lot. I'm going to be, and I'm just going to announce it. I don't care because I'm proud of it. I'm going to be 56 years old in the next couple of weeks. And through that, I have learned.
Hold on. I had to push stop the cap on that. Oh, wait, hold on. You mean to tell me you about to be 50 what?
56 years old, yes.
Guys, that's cap. There's no way. You don't look an age over 30. I'm telling you that right now.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me. But I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of hard work. Having a relationship with God is a lot of hard work, because you're convicted when you don't do the right things. And I think being able, not drinking alcohol and eating the right foods and just bringing just good habits into my life and my routine has definitely helped enhance our relationship too. So it's all of that. So I tell my girlfriends, listen, you know what, girl, I'm going to let you know right now. I understand where you're coming from. I acknowledge, I agree with you. But you know what? Are you going to tolerate that? Are you going to put up with that? Because at the end of the day, this is your decision. Yeah. And if you're going to allow that to happen, you're going to continue being treated that way, or you're going to continue allowing that person to treat you that way. So it all starts with you. And when you're willing to change that and you're willing to have, to see things differently, then that's where the change starts. And I will tell you that change can happen. People can change. I'm a testimony of my own story that I've changed tremendously. I'm not the same person that I was 10 years ago, nor do I ever want to be the person I was 10 years ago.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. One more question within that before we get to your business. So, would you also say, because this has been advice that I give mentees when I mentor them, right? You got to change your circle. So I know you said you have an abundance of homegirls who calls you and things. I don't know if abundance, but you have a
abundance.
You have a nice little summer homegirls, right?
I do.
But do you also want to have people who are like-minded and people who are in the same situation as you? Meaning that if you're married, you want to hang around other married people. You or at least have those in your circle, right? Your immediate circle. For the ones who don't have that, would you say for you to get rid of them, depending on the situation, or if they're bad apples and bad seeds for you, to kind of discard them and then invite and bring in the ones who can help you grow in those areas? Because you can't be married and still hanging out with single people. I mean, you can be, but it doesn't vote well for your marriage long term. What would your advice be when it comes to something like that? Because I'm pretty sure you have to do that to a degree.
I absolutely love that question. Yeah. And I'm going to have to say that I believe in giving everybody a chance. Okay. Eric has taught me that when I go into a relationship with somebody, whether it's a friendship, whatever type of relationship other than my husband, obviously, I go into it 100%. There you go. 100% if I'm going to. And you know what? You let that other person break it down. And if they're going to break it down, they're going to be the one to break it down. I believe in giving people chances. And I believe that because I know where I came from, that there's a lot of forgiveness. Okay. So do I hang around with people that are in my same circle that can help me grow and be a better version of myself? Absolutely, I do. But I also believe, too, that if I can bring what I've learned through my transition and my chaoses and my challenges of life, I can help them. And if I can help them and they're coachable, and they're willing, because they maybe in a generational came from something that where I came from and they don't understand. And if I can impact them by allowing them that chance and that opportunity, I will give it that chance. But if it breaks down to where it is now causing me stress, it's affecting my emotional energy, it's becoming toxic, then yes, absolutely, I will have to set boundaries and I will have to distance myself. And not to say that I won't pray for them or allow them to be themselves, but they won't be as close to me and to my heart as I would love it to be, because I will have to make a decision with that, because I have to keep, like I said from the very beginning, my emotionally energy in alignment with what God's purpose is for me. And so yes, I will give people opportunities and chances.
I love that answer. Okay, so now we about to get to the money. All right. So Jay, throw up her logo real quick so I can make sure I got the name right. So Kerry Thomson Group.
Yes.
Talk to me about Kerry Thomson Group. How was it formulated? Why was it formulated? And what is your business all about?
All right. Wow. Where do I even start? So let's start from the beginning. Okay. So I have been into real estate in 25 years now. Okay. But I want to start a little bit further back. I want to talk about where I came from. Obviously, I talked about coming from nothing, which poverty. I didn't have my mom didn't have money. Sure. We used to shop at thrift stores. So my first job was pushing grocery carts. I got a job at Stater Brothers, and I was pushing carts. And I remember my mom telling me that I had to get a job. And I was about 15 and a half half, 16 years old. And I knew I did. I knew my mom couldn't do it on her own. And so I chose Stater Brothers because at that time I knew Stater Brothers had benefits and I wanted to grow and continue to grow. And so I started pushing carts, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, I can push 25, 30 carts all by myself. You ever been in a line at a grocery store and you're outside parking your car and you see those people out there pushing grocery carts and they
have some
like
kind of electric thing helping them or something.
They didn't have that one back 25 years ago
Okay.
plus, okay? We had to do it by hand, and I would stack all those grocery carts together, and I would lean them a certain way, and I'd push those carts and I'd put them in to where they belonged. And that's where I started, okay?
Okay.
So I started pushing grocery carts. I moved my way up from there, pushing grocery carts, what I did for about 3 months.
Okay.
And then I went into a bookkeeper position for the same grocery store. And then I went into bookkeeper, and then I went into manager, and then I went into a senior supervisor, which was at that time they called us key carriers.
Okay.
So I've moved my way in 13 years in the grocery industry all the way up to the top by starting off by pushing carts.
Okay.
So I came out of the grocery industry and went into real estate. And actually, there was a little tiny gap in between there where I thought I wanted to be LAPD. Okay, listen, 5 foot tall me, Kerry, wanted to be a cop. So I went through the Fullerton PD, agility, took a psychological, did all of that.
Okay.
Thought I was tough and rough and I wanted to be a cop, and went through a drive, what they call it is, I guess they call it like a drive where you get in a car and you go with another.
Ride along.
So I did that. We ended up going to Skid Row. And I was looking, and it was so unfortunate, the homeless people that were there, and the way that
it's
the
even
cops.
Worse now.
Yes, this was 20-something years ago, and so I remember on one side of the street they would move to the next side of the street, and then when the cops would go on that side of the street, they would just go back to the other side of the street, and I just thought, wow, this is crazy, and I just knew that there was no way I was going to be able to do that, and so I made a decision to continue staying in the grocery industry, and then. Through that transition, I always wanted to be a real estate agent. We never owned a house.
Okay.
We always moved from house to house, and I went to school, and we didn't have any money saved, and we didn't know what to do. Right? And actually, we're not taught in school by how to manage finances.
Nope. And that's by design.
And even by generation now, we're taught English, we're taught history, we're taught all of these other things, but we're not taught how to manage finances. Yeah. So we had food stamps, and we didn't own a house. And so I wanted to work and ended up moving up the ladder. And by then, I was old enough to where I got married and had some babies, and we were able to afford a house. Okay. And the house that we afforded at that time, which moving to Rancho Cucamonga from Orange County, was $120,000. And so that's kind of what brought me to Rancho Cucamonga. And so there is when I decided that I wanted to take advantage and get into real estate. So my ex-husband at the time, yes, I was married before, was in mortgages. And I had my first baby, and I just could not sit still at home. Okay, I was not that domesticated. Mom or just sat at home. I needed to do something. And I remember my husband being in the mortgage industry at that time, had a stack of papers, and they were leads. And I knew nothing about mortgages, nothing. And I remember that I would put the baby down, which he's 24 years old now. His name is Gage. I would put him down to sleep, and I would go in the room, and I would pick up the stack of papers, and I would start calling people. And at that time, interest rates were 13%. So I laugh at people when they're kind of, squatting over the 7.5% interest rates right now, because really this is a normal market.
Yes.
And so back then, interest rates were 13%. Costs of houses were a little different, of course, but they were high. And I was taking people from 13% interest rates, knowing nothing, just got on the phone and made the phone calls. And I was taking about 13% interest rates into 7.25%. So at that time, my husband decided to recruit me So he brought me into the mortgage industry, and I was in the mortgage industry for about 3 years. In 1999, I helped him open up a brokerage, an office, and I became a lead, I would say top producer in the mortgage industry for about 3 years, and I changed lives. I took people out of 13% interest rates down to 7.25% at that time, and that was kind of how I got into the industry.
So you just knew about refinancing, or you didn't even know the word. You just like, okay, I'm taking it from the interest rate from 13 to 7 or whatever it was. You didn't know what the word was. You didn't know what you were doing. You just like, I'm gonna just do something because I'm little, fidgy around trying to do something out the house, and just being a mother or just being at a homebody is not you. So
that
you
was
literally
not
just
my
did that.
DNA, and it's not my DNA till today.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
I needed to work, and I wanted to work, and I didn't care how I did it because I just jumped on the phone, and I figured my husband at the time gave me a little bit of a script, but a script is just a foundation
That's
of
all.
what
Yeah.
you're supposed to.
You still got to close the deal.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I would take that script and internalize it. And the more phone calls that I made, the better I got. And the better I got, the bigger I got, and the more people I was able to help. And so I was able to take people. I mean, I remember this gentleman from Metropolitan Water District, and he had gotten himself in, he was a big VP of the company, he'd gotten himself in some trouble and had refinanced, and he was about to lose his home. And I remember that I was able to help him save his home because I got him a refinance. And that to me was the biggest impact. And when I was able to take somebody that was just about to lose their home and help them save their home, that right there was the reward for life. And that was where I knew that this is where I needed to be, is by continuing to impact people. And so that was the start of my real estate, and I would say in the mortgage industry first. And then I did that for about 3 years. Became a top producer. I'll embrace that because that's a lot of work when you become a top producer.
Of course.
It's a lot of sacrificing. It's a lot of pounding the pavement. It's a lot of conversations. It's a lot, right? And I wanted to get into real estate. I wanted to be on the other side of things. Back then, I was behind a fax machine. So my documents would come to me behind a fax machine. I wanted to get out and I wanted to reach people. I wanted to talk to people. I wanted
hands, all
to
that
shake,
stuff.
shake hands. I wanted to interact with people. And so I decided, because at that time I couldn't do both. But I was able to take my experience of lending at that time, which has drastically changed now. So I don't try to understand where lending is these days because it's changed so much. But I was able to take that and excel when I went into real estate side of it. And I started my real estate career with Keller Williams.
Wow.
Yeah. So I stuck with Keller Williams for 15 years, became one of their top producers. I remember getting first choice of an office building that they had built. It's right here in Rancho Cucamonga. I got to pick one of the first offices. So, of course, I picked the biggest office.
There you go.
And I developed a team. And at that time, needless to say, back in 2003 was really when I started more of the real estate stuff. 1999 was the mortgage. But I was able to grow a team then. I got into the REO aspect of real estate, and REO is real estate owned properties. And what that means is that banks would foreclose on properties if the consumer could not make their payments. And back then was obviously a recession, and it was a very hard time where a lot of people were losing their homes. Prior to that, nobody ever talked about foreclosures, but back then everybody was losing their homes, and it was just our market crash. And fortunately, I would have to say, I got into a space at that time, and if I didn't do it, somebody needed to do it, where I had about 25 REO accounts with different banks.
Wow.
So they had hired me to list these homes that they were foreclosing on, and I continued to develop and work very, 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 very hard. And I saw things that I never thought I would see when these houses were being foreclosed. Squatters, I mean, people in houses drinking, I mean, having sex, I mean, just all kinds of stuff. And I pounded the pavement, and I worked my butt off really, really hard when it came into the REO space. And so fortunately, that was a lot. I was doing so many of them that kind of kept me above water. And then I maintained relationships with builders. I was also a contingent sales rep for builder, not meaning I worked directly for a builder, but builders would hire me to come in and help sell their standing inventory. And all of these were created by relationships. All of these were created by opportunities. All of these were created by getting out there and having more conversations with people. If I didn't have those conversations with people and I didn't get out of bed every single day and I didn't go out there, those opportunities would have never have come to me.
Wow.
So that was kind of the start of my relationship with real estate. And fast forward, I had left Keller Williams after, I was there for 14 years.
Okay.
My best years ever. I love Keller Williams. I have nothing but love for them and what they've taught me. I think any new real estate agent back in that time, that was where I learned everything. I had the greatest mentors in my life, and even through the chaos. And that's where I met Wanda, of course. But then after that, I kind of thought I was going to go out on my own, and I had a couple failures, a couple of companies that I joined that kind of promised the world, and that didn't end up happening. And, well, that's one thing I want to touch on is sometimes we think that we need to move from broker to broker to broker to broker because we're not getting the support that we need.
Yeah.
But I found out through the years that it's not necessarily the broker. It's you. It could be you. If you're just moving from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, you need to evaluate you. What are you not doing? Yeah. Why aren't you going to your broker and saying, hey, this is where I need the support? By going from one broker to the next isn't always the answer.
Yeah, I let me chime in on that because I've had experience with that more in the insurance space, right? I do real estate investing as well, but in the insurance space, I felt like I needed to go to another broker or another team or whatever because I wasn't getting the support. And that's okay if you do that, if you're really not getting the support or if you're brand new into the business.
Sure.
And, like a baby, you got to nurture it, you got to feed it, you got to really give it a lot of love and not a lot of nurture, and for that person to really grow in that industry or in that business, right? That's okay to leave if you have to, if you are in the beginning stages. But once you learn it, once you understand it, then your mentor or whoever is above you should be more of a guidance at that point. You shouldn't have to keep holding your hand and keep leading you down the yellow brick road to make sure like, hey, well, I'm gonna be successful at this. No, you need to. Now it should be more of a guidance role, and it should be more of a, hey, if you need help with this particular deal, because I have a little bit more knowledge on this, or how to do a creative finance on this, then you go to that person. But you're supposed to be well enough now, knowledgeable enough now, and well read enough now to be able to handle your own affairs at that point. So to keep blaming your mentor or your upline or whatever business you're in, whatever you call it, that to me, that's like you said, that's a you problem at that point.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. So listen, first of all, I want to say to agents right now, I think the last statistics that I saw, 87% of agents have gotten out of the market. Okay. Last year in 2022, 2021, interest rates were at 3%. Well, guess what, guys? That clearance sale is over. Okay. We will not see that again. And what people need to realize, and I want to articulate this, is that people need to realize that, hey, when interest rates were 3% and you're going to wait for that 3% again, or you're going to wait for that market crash again, guess what? That's not going to happen. We're in a normal market right now. You were paying $60,000, $100,000, $200,000 in Orange County over list price to get that 3% interest rate. Okay. Right now, see, that's what people need to understand. And that's where you need to work with an experience, because who you work with matters, is to be able to educate the consumer and your client that 3% is not going to come around again. Okay. You've got people that are spending credit cards and doing a 24% interest rate on their credit cards, but yet alone doesn't want to save for a house. Right now, you can get into a house with like as little as 3% down. And there are so many ways and so many options and so many things to be able to get somebody to getting into a home. And for me, that's my purpose in life. My purpose in life is to make everybody a homeowner and own a home, or if not, get into a bigger home, or if you're looking to downsize or whatever it might be. But see, we need to educate our consumers. And if you as the agent are not showing up for yourself, you're not going into the office meetings or getting on the Zooms even easier these days, or getting on your phones and educating yourself, guess what? You're not going to be able to bring true value to your clients. And that's why it is so important, even 25 years later, being in the business, that I continue to educate myself every single day. I have 3 coaches. I have a personal coach, motivational coach, I have a marketing coach, and I have a team lead coach.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And you know what? And that's not because I think I know it all, because I don't. 25 years ago, being in the business is certainly different this time around. And I like to learn from the newer generation, because things are changing.
They can educate you too.
They can educate me too. So my thing is that I want to continue impacting. And when I started 25 years ago, I didn't have any mentors. It was sink or swim. Okay. If I had questions, you were lucky if your broker was around. You know, our brokers were doing things. We're trying to go out and create new opportunities to bring to the office, education, mentoring, all these different things. And so the reason I started the Kerry Thomson group was because I knew that I didn't really have anybody that was really, really there to mentor me. So I wanted to take all the experience and all the failures and all of the challenges that I had through my real estate career, and I wanted to be able to teach what I knew and continue to teach, so that the newer people that were getting into real estate, that I could help guide them so they can guide clients and they can go out and create these opportunities, and that they can make the American dream come true, which is home ownership.
Wow. I love
so
that.
That's kind of how I created the Kerry Thomson group. I've been involved with a few different partnerships in between there. And some of those didn't work out. And, you know, it happens, right? Partnerships are really hard to maintain when you're in a partnership. Sometimes you're not equally yoked. One's doing a little bit more than the other, but that's okay.
There you go.
That's okay. It happens. And those are challenges that we go through. Makes you better, and it makes you stronger. And like I said from the very beginning, through all of the chaos that we have every day, you have to be the one to manage your emotional energy. And if you're going to allow whatever chaos or whatever's going on in your life impact your energy and how you're going to feel and how you're going to show up every single day, I choose what I want to impact me and how I'm going to have my day and set my day, because I set my day with an intention every single day. I actually set my day before, my week before. So every day I know what I'm going to do by setting an intention. And I think what some real estate agents, the newer real estate agents, need to understand is, first and foremost, I'm going to call it what it is, because my kids are the same way. There's some kind of entitlement that the younger generation feels. And there is no entitlement, you know. I think, you know, people make more money as, you know, life goes on, but you've got to work hard and you've got to get out there and set your intentions for what you want, and you have to make it happen. And like you said, you can't rely on anybody else. Yes, you can have a mentor. Yes, you can have somebody that you could go to. But the reality is how you start your day and what you get up and what you say that you're going to allow in your life that day is setting your intention.
You know what I love that you just said right now, because I preach leadership. You're a leader, and you also took accountability and continue to take accountability. Taking accountability will get you so far in life. People don't. This whole entitlement and the way society is set up right now, everybody is, well, it's Kerry's fault, it's Julia's fault, it's your mother's fault, it's your father's fault, it's your sister's fault why you are not successful. No. You're not successful because you're not successful. It's your fault as of right now.
100%.
So I want to make sure, Cam, if you're not successful, it's up to you. It's you, not your mother, not your father, not your sister, not your brother. It's you. If you want to be successful in anything in life, you have to take accountability, have the right people in your life. If the ones who are not in your life right, you discard them or you shun them away, at least momentarily. Depends on who it is, right? You can't get rid of your mama. That's your mama, right? But,
I love that.
Hey, mom, I can't talk to you right now. I'm focused. I got to do what I got to do. You take accountability and watch how God shows up in your life. I love the fact that this whole time we've been talking, Accountability, accountability, accountability. Take responsibility for your life. I love that. I love that message that you're conveying to the world right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to be the one to take accountability.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to, and you have to show up for yourself. I want to talk to you about something recently. So, in the recent, most people that are very close to me know this, and I don't mind sharing this. I have a grandchild that's 5 years old,
Okay.
and Eric and I took care of him for a little while, for just a little while, we'll just say, and we're going through some challenges with that. We're
Okay.
actually in the middle of filing for grandparent rights,
I got you.
and it's okay. It's okay because the kids were young when they had my little grandson, and I tried my hardest to help impact both of my kids when they were young, when they had the baby, to be there for them and allow them to grow up and mature and be parents, right? It hasn't quite all worked out that way, but this is why I'm getting into the chaos part. Is in the middle of my chaos and in the middle of going after these grandparent rights, because I believe in family and I'm true to my loved ones, and wanting my loved ones to know that they're so supported by me. I showed up every day still. There was times where I didn't want to get out of bed because we had to deal with some court situations, right? And I didn't want to get out of bed because maybe I took something offensive, or maybe I got my feelings hurt, which is what we talked about earlier. And I didn't care, because what I've learned through managing my emotional energy is that through the chaos that we go through every single day, that you have to show up for yourself. That I was able to still show up, and just yesterday, I got voted on what's called our NARREP board as director of education. So
Wow.
I get to bring education
Yeah.
to all of the agents out there that I've learned over the years and continue to learn. But my point being is not so much of that. My point being is that even through the chaos and through what we go through, that you have to understand that we all go through something.
Yeah.
And if you don't manage that, and you don't know how to get through that chaos, to get up every single day out of bed and serve, then guess what? You'll get stuck there. And I am no way going to get stuck anywhere that I'm at where there is a challenge. I am going to continue moving forward with God's help and my perseverance, my determination. I'm going to continue moving forward. And so I am really embracing that, because I get an opportunity to continue to impact other agents. I get to impact, so NARREP is part of the Latinos, where we get to help them with home ownership. And I get to be part of this community where I get to give back, and I don't get paid for that. But what gets me paid is when I am able to help people.
Yeah.
And yes, everybody wants to be compensated. Let's not lie, right?
Yeah.
We got to live. We got to
Yeah,
live.
yeah,
We
you
got
gotta
bills to
live it. Yeah,
pay.
exactly.
We got all of that stuff, right? But you know what? At the end of the day, my biggest thing in impacting is when I get to hand over keys to somebody, and they never thought it was going to be possible that they would ever own a house, or a single mom that has been struggling like my mom did, that never thought that they would ever own a house, and they were able to do it on their own.
Yeah.
And to me, that is true value and true impact,
Wow.
and why I show up every day for not only my family, for my team, for my colleagues, for the board of directors that I'm involved with, which is I'm involved in 3 board of directors, because I want to give back to the community.
There's this, it's crazy as you were explaining yourself just now and talking about managing. Dr. Miles Monroe, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a minister. He passed away a while ago, right? Monroe Global. That was the name of. You can YouTube him or whatever, but he was a phenomenal pastor, phenomenal motivator, and phenomenal message speaker. Like, he knew the scripture like no other.
Yeah.
There was a saying that he said that even I hold a lot of stuff that he said in my heart, but he said this. He said, "Whatever you mismanage, you will lose. If you mismanage your finances, you will lose your finances. You mismanage your marriage, your wife is going to leave you because you don't manage that right? So, but you learn how to manage things by learning first how to manage yourself.
Yeah.
But how you manage yourself is you go daily. You go with the Word of God. You renew your mind daily with Him, and you get closer in relationship with God. Not in religion, in relationship with Him.
Relationship.
And God will then show you how to manage yourself through the Word And then by you becoming a master at managing yourself, now you can manage your marriage. Now you can manage your kids. Now you can manage your finances. Now you can manage your health. You can manage everything that this worldly stuff has, because you mastered to manage yourself through the word of God. So I thought that was real fitting what you were talking about, managing, because people don't understand. If you can manage yourself first, managing your finances, managing your significant other, not controlling, managing, that's different.
He won't let me control him, trust me.
managing your kids and all that stuff, and you manage yourself first. But I thought that was very fitting what you said.
Yeah. It definitely does start off with a word every single morning.
Absolutely.
Because and if you allow yourself to be still, right, you have to be still. And that's something I had to learn. I never knew how to be still. I didn't know when God was talking to me. And when I finally decided that I was going to move more towards my faith and my relationship, like you say, not religion, faith, I started learning and I started listening, and God spoke to me very clearly, and he still speaks to me. And that, you are exactly right. And I love, and very profound, what you said is that once you do that, you will be able to manage everything else, which is your finances, your team, being a wife, being a mother, being a grandmother. I'm soon also, I have my other son, they're expecting a baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She's 7 months pregnant. I absolutely love her. We have a great relationship. I'm still getting to know her, but my son is in the Army, and he is going for his linguist, and he just learned his Farsi language, and he's going for CIA. I believe that that's what he's doing, but we have a fantastic relationship. I have a fantastic relationship with my ex-husband. I know that this is really hard for people to understand, but I have a great relationship with my ex-husband, that even after my kids being 20 and 24, that my kids truly never really saw us fight. They didn't. We divorced at a young age, but through that, we were able to co-parent together, and we are still friends till this day. And even after the kids are after 18 years old, a lot of families like distant, they're done, their kids are 18, no more this, no more that. We still talk about our children almost 3 times a week. We still talk about our children.
Well, they're going to be your children to the day you die.
I know,
so
but you know what? People
don't understand that.
They don't understand that. They think, okay, they're 18 now. You know what? I don't need to talk to him anymore. I don't, whatever. Maybe the relationship went bad. I don't know. But with my faith, we grew to be closer as friends. We were we were great when we were married for a short time, but, people change. And we have continued to develop our relationship. And our relationship as friends and co-parenting is also strong. And I'm going to tell you where that came from, too. My faith and God, because I'm able to manage that relationship too. How amazing is it that you can still manage a relationship with your ex? Most people don't do that. Right?
That's a very hard task.
That's a true story. So anyways.
No, thank you for that. Thank you for that. We only got a few more minutes here, but I wanted to really touch back on your business, Kerry Thomson Group.
Yes.
So I was going through your website, and I know you do residential real estate, but you guys also do off-market deals.
Yes.
You guys do real estate investing.
Yes.
Your husband, what's the name? Something investments, but what's it?
He's First Look Investments.
First Look Investments.
Yes. Okay. Yes, and asset management basically. And he got into the business 5 years ago. Okay. He was also doing some insurance back then, and he got into the business by accident, and then I kind of. Let's just say mentored him a little bit throughout the process, motivated and kind of molded him. And he does really good with the investment side of it and the off-market stuff. So he's that's his forte. That's what he's in charge of, more of the off-market opportunities. And again, he gets to bring investors like yourself.
That's what I'm into. I'm in off-market. Like I love land. I love tax deeds, tax liens. So that's my thing. So that's why I was like, oh, this is a nice little relationship we forming here. We're gonna have to talk offline after this.
Absolutely. And he loves that, and he's great at that, and that's really changed him and where he's going in his direction, his vision. And I love listening to him when he's growing from that, and he's just getting better and better and bigger too. So and then I do more of the traditional stuff, and I have a team, and I also putting it out there. I'm also part of Agent Inc., which is we just merged with Real recently, and Real is a newer brokerage that just came out. We offer a rev share, and there's 10 different ways to make money. And I've been so fortunate that I am growing other teams too. So not only do I manage a direct team underneath me, so I have about 8 agents that work directly underneath me, mostly all women.
There you go.
And the reason why is that's not by design. I mean, anybody that wants to join, they can, but we have an amazing vibe. We're a community. We love on each other. We have a great workspace. It's an opportunity for us to collaborate as women sometimes. We have these little talks in the morning about maybe something we're going through, but they're part of my team, and I pour into them just like they pour into themselves, and I help mentor them. But I also grow teams too. So I have helped other team leaders get into the space of merging with us, and we help grow them. And right now there's so many agents that are getting out of the business because they don't have true mentors and people that really pour into them, and people that show up for them every day. And so that's what I do.
There's a lot of lone wolves out there, a lot of agents just going out there
and they don't know what to do.
No.
They don't know what to do. And so guess what? You got to find somebody. You got to connect with somebody that's going to not only bring the energy and the positivity and the mentorship and the value and all of the things that it takes to be in real estate, and get out there and go talk to somebody. Don't just quit. You made a commitment to yourself. You went down, you studied for your real estate exam.
I don't understand. You did all of that.
All that work. You studied for the courses. You went down, you took your real estate exam, which it's really hard to get a test date. You made a commitment to yourself. You made a commitment to your family. And then you're going to come to me and you're going to tell me you got to go find another job? Hell no.
There you go.
You are not going to go find another job. We are going to sit down and we are going to evaluate on exactly where it is and what it is that you're missing that we can work on to get you where you need to be. Because guess what? You made a commitment, and I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm going to hold you to that commitment because I did the same thing, and I could have quit 1,000 times, but there was no way. And I'm going to tell you, real estate has paid off for me. It has given me a beautiful home. It has given me being able to give my family, my children, the things that I didn't have, my grandchildren, and to be able to help save for other opportunities and other things that we want to grow as we continue to grow. And now I'm more on the retirement mode side. So I'm trying to stay a little bit away from the spending on bags and shoes and all that. That's a little bit of a hard sacrifice, I'm not going to lie, but I'm trying to be in the retirement mode of things. And so I want to teach other people how to get there.
Well, congratulations to everything. Something you said in between that, you said revenue sharing. So we talking about revenue. Are you talking about REITs and that you have all that? So that way,
passive income.
Passive income. Okay. So do you have REIT investments? What kind of passive income do you got? Because now I'm for myself. Because I'm always looking to park money somewhere. Because I trade. I do other things to always, kind of be your own bank. I always generate money, right? But I always look for investments to generate me more money, right? So, and I have investors as well. So for someone who's going to go to your website, who wants to get in contact with you, I know don't say that yet. We'll do that at the end. We still have more questions. But what are they looking for? If someone will say, okay, I just want strictly passive income. I'm a real estate investor. I know the business. I don't need necessarily that guidance. I'm good with that. But I want to park my money here. And what can I get by parking my money here with Kerry Thomson Group?
Okay, so that's a great question. So number one, I'm always going to say that real estate is always your first and foremost best investment, right? So parking your money into real estate, being a homeowner definitely is the place. Buying investment properties, putting your money there, because we all know that real estate has the quickest growth, right? You're going to generate more revenue. You're going to generate a higher percentage by owning real estate. Secondly is I do have mutual funds. I have a financial advisor where I park my money, and I have hired a management company to manage my money because I'm not good with that. And he tells me how much I can spend. He tells me what kind of bonus I can give myself and kind of tells me where I need to be. So I have that aspect of things too. Secondly, or let's say thirdly, as I have what's called stocks, right? So every single transaction that I close, there's a percentage that goes into a stock account for me. And so that will continue to compound over time. So I have that. I also have life insurance, which compounds too. So I have I don't know if I'm going to say it right. UIL.
No, IUL.
IUL.
Yes.
Okay. I have that too. So I park some of my money there as well. I think that it is very important for you to, when you're in real estate or you're making money, that you understand where you're putting your money and having that money compound for you. Because right now, like I said, I'm in a retirement mode. So my passive income comes from all the people that I bring in underneath my team. There's a certain percentage that with the company that I'm with, that when I put that money into, they also give me money back. And I am so proud to say that I'm getting more and more and more and more as I continue to elevate. And so that's passive income. We call that mailbox money.
There you go.
And so these are called multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
And as you get older and as you start investing and as you start wanting to park your money somewhere, these are the places where you need to do. I also have a little Robinhood account where I put money in there. I kind of watch it grow. I play around with it. And I have that in the real brokerage. And right now we're on the first floor of our public shell. And so right now we're watching that growing, and it's just going to continue to grow. And that's kind of where I park my money, aside from parking my money in my kids' bank account sometimes.
MSIs, man, multiple streams of income. I love that.
Multiple streams of income, 100%. Yeah. If there's a new real estate agent out there, definitely getting into real estate investment, starting to get into some stocks, trying to passive income, multiple streams of income, a side hustle, whatever it is that you want to do that you feel like is going to influence you to continue to make money, that's what you need to do.
And then don't just put money there. Learn the game a little bit. Learn at least a little bit. You don't have to be an expert at it, because there's always going to be someone smarter than you in that area.
Yes.
But if you want to do stocks, learn stocks. You want to be in the Forex, like I'm in the Forex market, I trade.
Yes.
I learned that. I'll continue to learn that.
Yes.
I know when
You're
a
gonna
stop
have
loss.
to teach me that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have traders and everything.
Yeah.
I learned that. I'm learning. I'm still learning, because you learn what a stop loss is, what a take profit is. You understand what the market, how the market moves, a bear market, a bull market. You understand what's going on within the market, so that way when it's time to trade, when you're putting a trade into the market, when to get in, when to get out.
Right.
So you learn that stuff as you go. But whatever you want to learn, whatever you want to do, at least learn a little bit of it. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want to be a guru at stocks, just understand, maybe read a book or two so you can understand the basics of it, the fundamentals, and then go to someone who's more expert, who can, like you said, manage your money and everything, right? Jay, throw on the team. I want her to, before we get out of here, give me. That's a nice little team right there. So give me everybody's name and what their position is, and all that, and how they help you get to where you at, and vice versa.
Oh, they're so fantastic.
Wow.
What a great team. We're continuing to grow. So I'm going to start off with Claudia. Claudia has been in real estate for, I want to say, over 15 plus years. Okay. I knew her from Keller Williams. She actually worked on another team, and she was a great transaction coordinator. She's just a great person. I really love her. She's continuing to, I mentor her as well, and continuing to pursue her real estate career. So that is the one in the green dress. Gotcha. And then we're going to go to Marcy. She's sitting down. Oh, Marcy. I love this girl. Marcy is a brand new real estate agent. She's only been with me for maybe going on her first year. When she came to me, she knew nothing about real estate. When I was with another brokerage, she was so lost in real estate. And when I decided to open up the Kerry Thomson Group, or continue the Kerry Thomson Group, she had so much trust and belief in me, and she's still with me. And she's closed 3 transactions. She's got 2 in the pipeline, and she is comes from a human resource department. So she's got super amazing
Congratulations,
discipline.
Marcy. Yeah,
discipline, managerial skills, everything. And she teaches me things, but her heart is just amazing.
There you go.
And then we've got Grace in the middle. Grace I've known for about 20 years. She's also one of my great friends. She was in real estate.
I like that dress, that banana gold yellow dress. It looks real nice. Yeah.
Yes. She was in real estate with me at Keller Williams. She was an amazing superstar, top producer. She got out of real estate, went into title for quite some time, and recently just renewed her real estate license. And so she's back on the team, and she has decided to put her trust and everything in the Kerry Thomson Group and join me. And so I'm super honored about that. Wow. And then we've got the, KT is what my short name is there. That's me there. And then we've got Annette, which is right there in the pink dress. She's a brand new assistant with me me. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you, I am so incredibly blessed. She takes off so much off of my plate.
Yes.
And she is my right arm. And man, she is just super duper smart. She's younger. And actually, she's only 19 years old. Please don't be mad at me, but she knows so much and so responsible.
Wow.
And shows up for me every day. And I really couldn't do it without her. And then we have Monia. She has been with me for a little over a year as well, came from another company with me and has put her trust in me. And she is actually getting ready to not close, but she just got $1 million listing, and she just got an offer on it today, which I'm going to be talking to her about that after. And she's just really developing relationships kind of in the divorce niche and all of those things. So every single one of them are excelling in being on the team, and they're continuing to put their trust in me. And I'm just so grateful for them.
Wow, that's amazing. Amazing. So, Kerry, you've been a pleasure. You've taught me some stuff. I mean, I thought I was a motivator. I thought I was like, man, because my wife would tell you sometimes I get on her nerves because I'm such a go-getter. I'm like, no, listen, I'm off of 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I'm up in the morning, 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'm in the
That's
gym.
an excuse.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, exactly. I'm like, I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
But, I'm making sure I got my routine down. I do my elderberries, my black seed oil. I'm always doing the right stuff, right, to make sure that I'm always showing up and showing out, not only for myself, but for my clients and for my family, right?
Yeah.
But I never thought I would meet somebody else who matches my energy and exceeds it, to be honest with you. So your husband is very blessed to have you. So absolutely.
Thank you so much. And you know what? Gosh, thank you. I could not be more grateful for you taking your time and opportunity to bring me in here to the studio and hear about my story, and allow me to speak to other people that hopefully I can impact. And I'm also inspired by you as well. And you just keep on doing what you're doing, because you have so much emotional, positive energy that you bring to this space. And I think that you doing what you do on these podcasts, you're going to continue to impact other people as well. So again, I am so grateful, with so much gratitude and love for you. And thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But before we get out of here, is there anything else you want to say? Do you have any events coming up that you want to promote? And how can they reach you? So promoting events, mentorships. I know you got the website and everything on your business, but anything that you want to promote, go ahead and do it right now. And then, how can people follow you? Social medias, websites, all that before we get out of here.
Yeah. Guys, I am on all the social media platforms. I'm not real good on TikTok yet, but I'm working on it, because it seems like every time I get good on one thing, something else comes out. But you can find me, Kerry Thomson Sells Homes, on my Instagram page. I would love and invite each and every one of you guys to follow me. I love being a light and a shining. If there's anything that I could do to impact you guys with nothing but positive gratitude and love. Another thing too is I'm on Facebook just by my name. Events happening. I'm doing a bunch of events for my clients. I'm also part of the divorce niche as well. Unfortunately, I know that that's kind of a sore subject, but I am a pre-coach and post-coach for divorce people that are going through tough times. I am somebody that could help you walk you through that process. I'm also involved in probate as well, so I'm going to be doing events on that. I'm also part of the NAR Rep, which is bringing and impacting the Latino and everybody's lives, not just Latinos, but we are just impacting and showing people how you can become homeowners, and also how you as real estate agents can get into this market and just be a better version of yourself, and getting through all of the chaos to get you exactly where you need to be. I would love the opportunity for anybody that wanted to just speak to me, even just pick my brain for a moment, or whatever it is that you want. I want to put myself out there, and I want to invite you guys to please contact me, whether it's through social media, my private DM, call me, whatever it is that you want to do. Please, I invite you guys. I want to be there, and I want to be a source of light for you guys. And I want to be able to have all of the mentors and people that have shown me where I'm at today to be able to impact and give back to you guys. So thanks again for joining me. And thank you so much for those that all have been on here and watching this podcast today. And we are just so grateful, and so much gratitude.
Well, thank you, Kerry. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for being vulnerable with us. And thank you for everything not only you're doing for the community, but for the community, for the kingdom of heaven here on earth. So I greatly appreciate your time, your energy, your effort, definitely your energy, and your knowledge on everything that you're doing for not only yourself, for your family, but for others, to help change their generational legacy in their life. So thank you, Kerry. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Well, there it is. Miss Kerry Thomson here with her lovely husband was here as well, but obviously he wasn't on camera, but he was here as well, suited and booted, like she said. Yeah. But everything that she said, guys, go follow her. Go make sure you contact her. She invites everybody. So if you're looking to get into real estate, you need help with, like she said, the last part, you need help with maybe you're a divorcee or you trying to get over that or whatever, reach out to her. She's here to help. Guys, you're not by yourself. We have people like Kerry and others who are here to help guide you to the promised land. So make sure you guys reach out. Again, this is Julius Hammond, Wealth Chance family. I love you. I love you. I love you with the love of the Lord. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell and comment, especially all the Kerry's people. Make sure you guys comment. I want this algorithm to go out there, and everybody needs to know about this interview and what Kerry does and her team does for her, not only for the world, but for herself and to change legacies for others. So, guys, love you with the love of the Lord. I see you when I see you. Peace.